That's like something you need to bold, underline, and italicize. Alex Hormozi is on TRT. He's an awesome dude, but if you've ever, for example, heard his wife speak, I think you could probably gain an appreciation of, welcome back, friends. This is Jason, Actualization. And in this video today, what I'd like to do is review a video that I actually just got done watching, and maybe you've seen it before. It looks like it came out about a month ago from Alex Hormozi, and it's called The Alex Hormozi Diet Revealed. And it's important to talk about this video because there are certain caveats, certain germane details that were, for better or worse, left out of this video. And I just want to paint a more complete picture, fill in some of the missing puzzle pieces so that you, as an individual who may be influenced by this individual, because he is a very influential figure, very masculine guy, just a very influential entrepreneurial figure who a lot of young men in particular, myself included, are going to look up to. But that being said, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna play the first part of this video. And since I've already seen it in its entirety, I'm going to give you guys my overall thoughts in just a minute. But just so you guys can see the first little bit here, we will get the ball rolling.
I've eaten dessert virtually every night for 20 years. I have never skipped dessert, and I've been able to maintain a six-pack for that entire period of time. I have done a lot of different diets, keto stuff. I've done high carb, I've done low carb, I've done high fat, I've done intermittent fasting, alternate day fasting, carnivore style eating, whatever. The last 10 years, I've pretty much eaten the exact same way, be able to have business dinners, be able to have drinks. Many of the entrepreneurs that I know who've seen me eat and been around me a long time end up adopting this and they never go back. What I'm not saying is this is the most scientifically researched, whatever. I'm just sharing what worked for me. If something works for you, just keep doing that. Number one is you have to figure out what your goal is. You're either trying to get bigger, you're trying to get smaller. From there, you start at number 7 all the way up to 21. My videographers will put it right here, 7 to 21.
Yeah. All right, guys. So I love that he prefaced by saying, basically this is what worked for me. It's not the most research-backed ordeal. And that's really important too, because a lot of people will just circle jerk and jack off to these research pharma funded studies, and they don't actually make the rubber meet the road and actually go out and do the hard work and see what happens in terms of getting their blood markers assessed, getting an impressive physique, just actually doing something in the real world. They like to just be these armchair quarterbacks. So Alex is clearly antithetical to that. He is very masculine role model and someone who has been incredibly successful. But that being said, the reason you have to be careful about emulating him is because, for better or worse, he left out the fact that he is on TRT, and that changes everything. He is on testosterone replacement therapy, which means he's getting an exogenous source of testosterone and can literally dial that up or down and just regulate that without worrying about the lifestyle. So this dietary protocol that he's talking about, this 7 to 21 method, is reductionist, right? Because it's just a matter of calories in, calories out, which is true in and of itself, and it's something that you cannot circumnavigate. But within that, food is not just energy, it's not just calories, it's information. And the endocrinological information that you give your body, if you're not on TRT, absolutely matters, you guys. He's 33 years old. Like, he's just a few years older than I am. And why do you think that is? Why do you think he already has to pin himself? I mean, maybe he's taking a topical form of testosterone, but why is he beholden to Big Pharma to rely on his own source of testosterone as opposed to just getting high on his own supply? I'm actually just gonna pull up some blood work, guys, that I had done when I was 27. So I'm gonna get a holistic, comprehensive blood panel done in just a few months when I turn 30. It'll be like my 30s baseline, and I will be completely transparent and share all of that with you guys. I wish more influencers were transparent, because it's like, here's a map, just follow it blindly without being remotely interested and curious as to where the map actually led you if you followed it. So here is the most accurate, it's called liquid chromatography with mass spectrometry, LCMS, and you can see the reference range here. And this is the most accurate thing to go by, because depending on where you get tested, just different laboratory procedures and equipment, they're gonna have their own specific reference range. And you can see at nano 2.9, I am at the very top of that reference range. And my free testosterone is as well, because my diet is dialed in. So I've got a low sex hormone binding globulin. Now, very importantly, aside from total and free T, are my gonadotropins. And this is something that is incredibly important, because if I were to be on some sort of exogenous anabolic, like TRT, for example, or even blasting and cruising, like Alex, I mean, at least it's obvious to me, has in his past. I mean, that's why he had a testosterone level of like 70 something and has to be on TRT in the first place, right?
Fast forward to 2019, I did my blood levels again and they tested it and I was like 74. It was super low. They were like almost were in shock.
My gonadotropins are perfectly in reference range, and that would be like your luteinizing hormone, as well as your FSH, your follicle stimulating hormone. If somebody is taking exogenous testosterone, then their body, their HPTA, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, senses that it doesn't need to get high on its own supply. And so those stimulating hormones are going to get down-regulated. They're going to bottom out, because you don't have a need to actually stimulate endogenous testosterone production if you're getting it exogenously. So going back to the video, we watched the first 43 seconds. I've watched it in its entirety, and it is a, if it fits your macros, focused dietary philosophy that he preaches. But it's not all doom and gloom. Like, I love this guy. You know, he emphasizes eating a lot of protein. Protein is incredibly satiating. And contrary to what a lot of people think, the thermic effect is actually way higher than people give it credit for. You know, people talk about 4 calories per gram of carbs, 4 calories per gram of protein. For the net calories you get from protein, it's actually like closer to 1. It's way less than people think, because the thermic effect to convert it to glucose via gluconeogenesis, it's just so costly metabolically. So it really revs up your metabolism. So he's a huge proponent of meat, it sounds like. He eats, though, quite a bit of white meat, it sounds like. A lot of turkey, for example. And turkeys are monogastric animals. But again, he's not worried about his linoleic acid content that he's consuming. He's not worried about his industrial seed oils, because all of the things that I'm talking about have a cumulative effect of making you a high T man. You can see my T being above 900. That doesn't just happen on accident, unless you have a prescription for testosterone and you literally just have the needle dialed in. But I'm assuming if you're watching this, maybe you don't want to be beholden to Big Pharma. Maybe you don't want to have to travel with needles and syringes. You don't want to have to worry down the road if things go south, the world goes to crap, and you literally have no means of getting high on your own supply, because all of the manufactured testosterone that you've been relying on for however many years leading up to its eventual shortage, if that were to ever happen, then you are literally in such a compromised position, because taking TRT literally makes you an infertile man, and it makes you hypogonadal. So this is no small decision to make, and you literally have a plethora of influencers in their 20s now, certainly 30s and 40s and beyond, who are unnecessarily on TRT. And I say unnecessarily because I've never seen any one of them consume a diet that I would deem to be optimal. And look, this isn't like some sort of moral judgment. I think all drugs should be legal, but you really need to know that. I think a priori, you need to know what exactly you're emulating. You're emulating someone here who doesn't make their own testosterone. That's like something you need to bold, underline, and italicize. Alex Hormozi is on TRT. He's an awesome dude, but you know, if you've ever, for example, heard his wife speak, I think you could probably gain an appreciation of maybe their past history.
I think a lot of times people correlate age with experience. And so when people meet me and they're like, you seem like you're 40, what they mean is you seem like you have 40 years of experience.
And some of the things that they've put into their body, just, you know, given the masculinization, for example, of, I believe it's Layla, is that her name? Layla's voice really does speak volumes. But again, you know, you just need to be aware of the consequences, the pros and cons of taking steroids, using TRT, and realize that if you want to get high in your own supply, you want to sleep like a rock, wake up in the morning as hard as one, then your buffer room is a lot less and you have to cross more T's and dot more I's. And you can't just have this haphazard, if it fits your macros approach to your life. Guys, thank you so much for checking out today's video. Drop a comment down below. What do you think about Alex Hormozi? Seems like a solid dude to me. Love his business advice, entrepreneurial, just the go get it mentality. Awesome. $1 million offers, or what is it? $100 billion offers? God, he's incredibly successful, and that's amazing, but you have to be aware that he may be influential, but not necessarily somebody that you want to emulate. All right, guys, that's it for today. Until next time, friends, find your freedom. Take care, guys. Peace.